Oh, hey, I was wondering where you were.
Oh, yeah, I just got distracted. Hey, does this game mean anything?
Dude, every game matters because, like the seating and No, it just didn't. Who cares?
Right, like that just. I mean, good win. But,
Yeah, no, it was a good win. It was a good win. Yeah. How's Larry doing with the recovery from the surgery?
Oh, him? Yeah, the recovery went well. He's just got to learn not to eat things made of wood, steel, stone, rubber. Basically, anything that you would not think to eat, he's got to learn not to eat that thing.
Good. Yeah, he looks good. Looks comfortable. Anything else going on?
Oh, there's some good news. This little girl doesn't have cancer. We found a bump on her and we got real concerned, but she doesn't have any cancer.
Dude, that's awesome. Great. Yeah, that's really scary. So I'm glad that she's healthy. Yeah. Aren't we supposed to tell a joke now or something?
Yeah, but let's be honest. Nothing we could do or say will be as funny as what happened to Philadelphia tonight.
Low quality fans of a high quality Bruins team. Not a dub. Not a dub. Not a good game. A bad game. A bad game. A bad game. That's a bad game. We didn't have it. We did not have it. This team, it kind of goes as Pasta goes. And Pasta might have had his worst game of the season tonight. Really not great. I don't know why I'm picking on him right away. There's plenty of people to pick on. That was brutal. And it obviously you can sit here and go, all right, red flags, a hoe everywhere. A hoe? Land hoe, red flags hoe, a hoe. It kind of makes sense. I could see why you would start raising a bunch of alarms. I could get it. I could get it. But this team did just win 4 in a row against the Capitals, which take that for whatever you want, fighting for a wild card spot, all this stuff. Canes, Panthers, and Nashville. That's a pretty good run. And yes, we didn't have it tonight, but we didn't have it to a level where you go, oh, we didn't have it tonight. It feels fair. It feels just like the Canes a week ago. A lot of their fans were like, the ones who weren't blaming the refs, a lot of them went, the Canes didn't have it tonight. We just didn't have it. Especially for that first period, which was abysmal for them. Those games happen. A couple of weeks ago, someone pointed out that I tend to do that after losses. I'm like, I'm not super worried about this one, or this didn't matter to me because of this reason, or whatever it might be. Saying that I was doing it, alluding to me doing it just a little too frequently. But I really don't know how else to look at this one. It was so bad that I just don't... That's not who this team has been. It just hasn't been. There's been blips of it. This team's capable of being a really bad team sometimes. I get that. That's something we already knew. And I'm not going to take something we already knew of hey, they have off nights and start freaking out about it because, quite frankly, we already knew about it. This team, once again, has to have things move the right direction for them in the playoffs. If they go cold, and there's no saving them. There's nothing that can work. They don't have enough pure, raw talent or depth to be able to survive the majority of their players going cold at the same time. Really, no NHL team does, right? Last year's Bruins team is probably the only one you'd be like, they could survive pretty much anybody going cold at this point. And then that didn't take into account just a metric butt ton of injuries that played a role in any of the season. This team's mostly healthy right now, knock on wood. And let's just keep it that way. Get to the playoffs and see what can happen. This did kind of feel like the last big game of the season. The Panthers are still down by 3 points with 3 games to go, which mathematically it's unlikely they catch us. Possible, but unlikely. Same thing, the inverse for us to get to the Rangers, who are the number 1 seed in the East right now. Unlikely that we end up playing them. It does look like it's going to work out that the Bruins, as the number 1 Atlantic team, will get to face Tampa. And the number 1 team in the conference, the Rangers, will get to face whatever team backs their way into the second wild card. And the number 2 team in the Metro, the Canes, get an easy matchup against whoever ends up being the 3rd seed, as the Islanders or Capitals or whoever are trying to make it. It just looks like it's a lot better in the first round for the Metro teams than it is for the top teams in the Metro than it is for the top teams in the Atlantic. That's not really a complaint. That's just something, that's happening. But let's talk about this Canes team for a second. We just did this, so I'm not going to run this out for too long. But it is the 3rd and final meeting of the year. Each team has won once in regulation. We just played them, like I just mentioned. We know the rules. They're really good at special teams. They're really good at 5-on-5. They're the best in the league penalty kill and the 2nd best power play. Special teams could be everything for this team over the next couple of months, honestly. They could ride that hot PP all the way to a cup. Yeah. The goaltender situation for them isn't really a situation. There was a moment where we were like, hey, who's actually going to get the start in game 1? Outside of that one game against the Bruins, Anderson has been unbelievably good since his return. So my money's on that. But Kochekov's been solid. He's just had too many stinkers over the last couple of weeks. There's been a couple mixed in there, and Anderson's been so consistently great. Looked for Anderson to make the start, but if he falters, Kochekov's a pretty damn good backup right now with the way he's been playing this season. Fans of the Canes seem to get it. They're one of 2 parties. Right now, they're either locked in for that chase for the number 1 seed trying to catch the Rangers, or they couldn't care less and they just want to get through the last couple of games healthy and see what happens from there. The vibe I'm getting from most of the Canes fans in my life, they are in Group 2. They don't really give a shit about home ice in the 2nd round or 3rd round or whatever that means. They just want to get to the playoffs healthy and hope that this is their year, God knows they've been in the picture for the past few years, and close, no cigar each time. The Bruins, the lineups will go as follows. Heinen, Zacha, Pastrnak, that remains unchanged. Marchand, Coyle, Geeky, that remains unchanged. DeBrus, Boquist, Frederick, remains unchanged. And I have been very vocal about how much I don't like that line, but they're going to flip the script to this one. And then JVR, Beecher, Lauko. Oof, that was a line tonight. Lauko brought it, though. Linto, McAvoy, Grizz, Carlo, Wotherspoon, Peak, Swayman. This game, before the game, I mentioned, hey, this is your 6th defenseman for round 1. Game 1, round 1. The Wotherspoon Peak pairing did show the big weakness that we're worried about, which is puck movement when they have pressure on them. They had been so consistently good at it, though, where it wasn't like they don't have these great breakout plays or anything, but they're consistently getting the puck out of our zone. And as a 3rd pairing option, great. That's all you really care about. They don't need to have a McAvoy-esque puck mover on the 3rd pair. That being said, in this one, they got crushed in this one. So if they feel that matchup is going to lead to that, Shattenkirk's going to be in the lineup. That's the way I see it. But Wotherspoon Peak is still where I'm leaning right now. Oh, and the awards. They announced some awards before the game started. The 98.5, The Sports Hub 3 stars that focus on play on home ice, which is why you'll see Pastrnak, of course, gets your 1st star. Swayman gets your 2nd. Marchand gets your 3rd. Swayman was shocking to see for a second, and then his numbers at home are just really solid. He has not been the better goalie than Ullmark this season, but at home, Swayman's been really good. The Johnny Busick Award, exceptional off-ice charitable contributions, goes to Linus Ullmark. Hey, nice. I love the charitable stuff. The Elizabeth Dufresne Trophy, outstanding performance on home ice. That'll be David Pastrnak, which, of course, he was 1st star, so you could kind of assume that. And then the Eddie Shore Award for the whole hustle, determination, plays the game the right way kind of guy. That's Charlie Coyle. That feels right to me. That feels very right to me. But let's talk about this game, shall we? Puck drops! Right from the beginning. Right from the beginning, you could see the boys don't have it. And they told you how they didn't have it. We're less than 2 minutes into the game. And it's a simple dump in by the Canes down the right wall, and Nate just wins a race to it. And from a 0-angle shot on the goal line, he's just going to throw it on net. And it bounces off Sway. He gets surprised by it, lands underneath him, slowly slides past him, and ends up sitting over the red line, I thought. But they would review it, and they would call the goal back because they said that they were still slightly on the red line. Fine, whatever. That's, a great break for the Bruins. They were just not prepared. Swayman wasn't prepared. But that encapsulates the whole game. Our puck control, our decision making, everything that has to do with the puck hitting one of our sticks was abysmal tonight. It was awful. Swayman wasn't great. He had some huge saves, and then he let in some that you could certainly blame the defense a little bit for too, but you'd really love the second chance not to have even been there. It was just a bad game for everybody. And they showed us right away that that was what it was going to be. 5:09 left in the period. A surprising amount of physicality in the first period. It would not last through the game, unfortunately. I feel like the Bruins might have been more involved had it lasted. McAvoy and Gensel are going to get into a scrum after the whistle. They're just both hitting each other. They're both going to go for roughing. It's going to be 4v4 for 2 minutes. And then 1 minute left of the period. Great move by Heinen through the left side of the neutral zone as he throws a self-pass off the wall to break a 2-on-1 with Zacha, who's coming down Main Street. Initially, I was mad at Zacha because it looked like, at first glance, that Heinen has a perfect lane to him. Zacha just has to slow up a little bit and sit in the slot. Instead, he barrels right into the defenseman, making sure there's no pass option. Burns is going to slide. He cuts that off. No shot gets taken. We had like 4 shots the whole period. Mind-blowing. But really, the play that was there and what they were trying to do, Zacha was trying to go deep to the net because Pasta was a length back over the right circle. And that diagonal pass would have been huge, but Heinen held just a bit too long and ends up throwing it right into Burns. Again, these are plays that just encapsulate the decision-making and the poor puck handling, and it wasn't there. It just wasn't there. 0-0 after 1. Second period starts. 35 seconds in. Geeky's going to go for tripping. We're going to go to the penalty kill. 14 seconds left of that penalty kill. Marchand goes for knee on knee, which was absolutely a knee on knee. He should have gotten called for it. 14 seconds of 5v3, then a 5v4 to kill, and we kill it. The penalty kill looks great right now. It really does. I keep talking about special teams. That is doing well. It's the other special team. The game will open up a little bit. 8:21 in. A beautiful pass by Aho breaks Jarvis for a breakaway. Blocker side save by Swayman. It's huge. And then just a minute later, 2-on-1 for Freddie and DeBrusque. Freddie doesn't force the pass, which we love. He's going to fire, and Kochetkov going to make the low glove save. Good for them. 9:05 left. The Canes have hemmed the Bruins in. And this is helped by a poor clearance by Peak. Peak has been mostly good. I'm not going to hammer Peak here. But it was a poor clearance by him. Canes get set up, and Svetch is just skating with the puck behind the net. And he has just such a smooth Michigan. It is what it is. The shot was filthy. I'm not upset by it. Peak is bringing pressure. He has stick contact there. Swayman looks like he has most of it sealed up. But with speed, Michigan, top corner, just flings it into the net. From behind the net. Gorgeous. It goes in and out so fast that the refs don't even know what to do with it. And they're dumb and they're bad at their job, so they didn't see the puck go in. That was mean. That's just a mean statement to make. Either way, it's true. And the play continues for another 20 seconds before Toronto reviews the play, and then the horn goes off. And we have to admit that it was a goal, which wasn't fun for me. I kind of started to hold out hope that maybe it actually didn't go in. No, it did. 6:55 left of the period. The Zacha line, which has just been getting trounced the whole game. They mishandle the puck in the offensive zone, leading to a turnover. Then they get the puck back, and then they turn it over in the neutral zone again. Both times it was Pasternak. I said the Zacha line, but it was Pasta who did it. Pasta he couldn't keep the puck on his stick. Every time it touched him, it's like he was drunk, and it just would fly off him. I don't think he was actually drunk. Don't run with that. Jeez. Either way, we turn it over twice. It allows the Canes to come back into the zone and get set up once again, because that's what they've been doing to the Zacha line all night. Slavin is going to take a shot from the left point. It's going to get in on Swayman. Swayman makes a save. Unfortunately, Stahl is not wrapped up by McAvoy, who's chasing. Stahl recovers the puck, whips it into the slot, and there is Teravainen, who is not being covered by Lindholm. Lindholm's on him, but he's not being tied up by him, and he just gets to tap it past Swayman, and it's 2-0. Just like that. Just like that. The game's not over, though. There's still like 30 minutes left, almost. The Bruins haven't shown any pushback yet. First period was very even. Not even, sorry. First period was better for the Canes, but score-wise, and the Bruins were taking contact and making sure the puck at least moved. Second period was awful. It was just horrendous. But if you get back to playing your game a little bit, you can give yourself a chance here. With 5:38 left, third line again. They're the only ones who are showing up with some positivity. Boquist ends up drawing a tripping call. Shea's going to go for it. We're going to the power play, and the power play is terrible. It's not terrible. It has chances. It just doesn't score. So I'm going to call it terrible because I'm feeling bitter about the fact that our power play almost never scores. 3:04 left. We have built some momentum off the power play. I'm being mean. I'm criticizing what I shouldn't. We did build some momentum off of it because pressure continued after that power play. The next shift is the fourth line, and Lauko attempts a shot from the slot and is blocked over to McAvoy, who's on the inside of the left circle, and he just drops an anvil on Kochekov's chest. He smashes his puck so hard that Kochekov coming across, it hits him like in the tit, and it still goes in. Excellent work. 2-1. You're back in it. Third period, down by a goal. You can do this. And the third period might have been their worst. 9:46 left of the third. McAvoy with an awful turnover in our zone. When he had time and options, just throws it right into the pressuring forecheck. It leads to a Canes chance. They don't score off it, though. And then Zacha runs over to the left wall. He's going to recover that puck and then promptly flings it into the high slot to the Canes. We're down by a goal. Like, what are we doing? It allows them to get set up once again. Puck's going to go low to high, as it always does with them, over to the left side where it's going to get hammered onto Swayman. Swayman's going to make the initial save, but it's going to bounce out in the air. Gensel's going to come through and smack it out of the air past Swayman. It's going to land behind Sway. Zacha's going to be there to try to clear it out, but ends up just shooting it into the back of Sway and then bounces into the net, which was honestly just funny at this point. It's 3-1. 6:48 left. Gensel for holding, going to the power play. This is the perfect amount of time to still have a chance. You score on this power play, you're back to down by a goal, you've got 5 and some change to work with. This is huge. You lose the faceoff immediately, and the puck gets wrapped around the boards, and no one does anything. Which means Jarvis gets to skate it down the left wall all the way into the left circle of our zone. He gets to shoot on Swayman, basically unperturbed, gets to collect his own rebound with McAvoy chasing, wraps around the net, backhands it off the back of Sway and in. It's 4-1, shorthanded goal. The game is over. It is over. Genuinely, it is plays like that that make you not want to just accept that sometimes a hockey team loses. Because you had a chance and you immediately just threw it away with lack of effort. Like that one, no one skated after you lost a faceoff. Everyone just watched. That's on you. I got no excuse for that one. 2:37 left. Fast is going to go for tripping. We're going to go back to the power play. Nothing happens on it. Sway does make a breakaway save on Shea at the end of this one, so that's kind of fun. And it's 4-1 final. That sucked. That game sucked. That wasn't fun for anybody. Here's the thing. Game notes. No one had it. No one had it tonight. The top 6 got completely embarrassed. Coil line had 0 shots on net. I last checked at 3 minutes, so hold on. Let's find out together how many shots they had on net as a line. Hold on. Here we go. Coil had 0. Awesome. Geeky had 0. Great. Martian had 0. They had 0 shots on net the whole game as a line. That's almost inconceivable. The Zacha line was so sloppy with the puck that not only did they spend next to no time in the offensive zone, but they allowed 2 goals against at 5-on-5. That's not good. The third line was actually really strong. For the first time, the DeBrusk, Boquist, Freddie line looked kind of solid, and Freddie was having a great game. So, good. Now, the third period, they kind of fell apart, but before that, they were looking good, and hopefully they can build off that. The fourth line floundered most of the time, but Lauko brought amazing energy through the whole game. He had a great, energetic, ferocious game. I'm willing to blame his line mates for how the fourth line really didn't put much of anything together. I've been really harsh to Lauko this year. He has very much deserved it because people get tricked often by the player who moves a lot. Are you having an effect on the game, though? And he doesn't. He typically doesn't. I think he could have had a bigger effect in this game if JVR was able to keep up with any single forecheck at all. Or if Beecher had more hands in the offensive zone. kind of leads to the next game note. I'm so out on JVR being on a playoff roster. He can't keep up at 5-on-5, and the power play looks abysmal with him on it. What does he do for the team? When Brazeau and Maroon are healthy, that's the first guy I knock out of this lineup, which is a bummer because, this is going to sound harsh, I wanted that to be a Lauko replacement. Lauko, if he keeps up the energy and can find a way to impact the game a little more positively, great. JVR, I know he got sick. I know he lost a bunch of weight. I know there's excuses abound. It doesn't change the fact he's not helping this team at all. He's an active deterrent. Detriment. Words. Who would have guessed? Lastly, the last point I have here. Yeah, the power play sucks. And yeah, we overpass too often. The Bruins are in a great position. They're making the playoffs. The first round matchup's going to be hard because we're either playing Toronto or Tampa. That's more or less it. It's really likely Tampa. That sucks. But the Bruins are in a great spot. If you consider what your expectations were at the beginning of the year and where we are now, they exceeded expectations. I'm pretty happy with where we're at. This game kind of sucked, but the 4 games before it certainly didn't. I'm pretty comfortable. I think you guys should be pretty comfortable too. No reason to let it ruin your day or anything like that. That makes sense, right? Go Bees. Go Bees! And once again, it's time to give shout-outs to those who are keeping the lights on for this channel. We gotta shout out our top line tier to start. Let's start with Erica Poli, Colin Nolan, The Bugman, Brock Nope, Han Slomo, Coach D, The Atomic Lizard, Bradley Johnson, Aaron Adams, Just Aaron, Darren Woodbury, Brett Arney, Pincent, and Nick Zatrullo. You guys and gals are absolute studs. But we can't mention the studs without mentioning the Stallions, our all-star tier, high-quality inspectors, John Kirk, Jacob Pratt, Heil E. Coyote, Adam Ella, Bruin Smash, Joel, Abraxion, DeKingery, The Only Newts, A Tasty Snack, Doots42, and Jeremy. I can't say thank you enough. I appreciate all the support. You're absolute legends, stallions, whatever great adjective we can work in here. Thank you, everyone, from the depths of my heart, and go Bees!